Welcome, my friends, to another season of Friday Night Frights. So vampire to apologize for video being day late, but had problem with video player not working, video not uploaded, and had troubles with it. And I do apologize. It is embarrassing, especially to all my new viewers out there. Welcome, my new viewers. This is something that Joe Motion and I do every year. He turns the channel over to me for the month of October for 1 day a week, and I read scary stories to you. My life is a scary story, and we enjoy the month of October together to celebrate the festivities that it brings. But the problem with the video not coming up, found out Wi-Fi cables, the Wi-Fi, you know, the Wi-Fi that make the video go through the internet, got chewed up by some rogue, the lichen moved into the area, and they were not aware of the treaty that we have made with the Viking, and they found out that the vampire live here, and they thought that they would introduce themselves to your vampire, and they started chewing at the castle and tearing down wires to make it dark and just being a general nuisance. So I had to remind them, hey, there is a treaty. You don't mess with us if we don't mess with you. You stay on your side of the yard, I stay on my side. Plain and simple. And you don't forget to turn into Friday Night Frights every Friday. Okay? And they said, okay. And I didn't put an arrow into their tails. I had to skim a little bit, shoot one between his ears to get his attention. But I got his attention. So what are we doing this year? Well, we're going to stick with tradition. We're going to be reading from More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Shorts and drawings by Stephen Gomel. So, this is a very popular book series. There are 3 books in the series. This book series has been deemed as scary and was actually put on a ban list. It was banned from schools because it was scary. So, naturally, Vampire went after it and said, hey, it's banned. It's got to be good, right? Of course it is. Vampire read it when Vampire is still in my training teeth, my training fangs, and my formative years as a vampire. That's how old this book series is. So anyway, let's go ahead to get started. This one is, this story said, somebody fell from a loft. So it says, I had signed on as an ordinary seaman on the falls of Ettrick, a merchant ship bound for England. I have a nephew who's a seaman. Yes, he joined the Navy. He did, yes. Yes, he will be a regular old Popeye. The first time I saw the ship, I knew her right away. She was an old Gertrude Sporshoe. That was the name of the ship, Gertrude Sporshoe. It wasn't the Demeter with Dracula sailed to England on. I had sailed on her years before when she was painted brown and gold. Now she was painted black and she had a new name, but it was the same ship for sure. She had a pretty good crew. I could attest to that. They were pretty good. For that voyage, except for one hard-looking ticket named McLaren, he was pretty tough. Skin is tough as old boots, too. Hard to bite into him. Now I know why they call him a leatherneck. He was a pretty good seaman. I don't think so. He didn't taste too good. But there was something about him that I didn't trust. You're darn right. He was kind of secretive, kept mostly to himself. One day, somebody told him that I had worked on the old Gertrude. For some reason, he got all a tremble over that. See, that's an old term. He got all nervous about it. Then I catched him giving me all those ugly black looks. He's giving him the stink eye, giving me the stink eye. And then he was itching to knife me in the back. Oh, you don't do that. No, this guy was a real stinker. He was trying to knife this guy in the back, and he just a real stink. Yes. And I guess it had something to do with Gertrude, but I didn't know that. Well, this one day he was trying to work out a way through the dripping black fog. Yeah, it's the fog that I whistled up. That's why you don't whistle on the ship, because you whistle up a storm. That's why it's bad luck. But I whistle up a storm on the ship and the black fog come in. That's right, and the fog come in. You secretly know we had all the lights on, and it was dead calm, and there wasn't a breath of fresh air. Yeah, bunch of smelly seamen. You bet there wasn't a breath of fresh air on that ship. The ship just lay there, wallowing in a trough, a rolling and a rolling, going nowhere. There, no fresh air on that ship at all. I was standing there. I was standing my watch around midships, and McLaren was doing his trick at the wheel. And the rest of the crew was scattered about one place or another. And it was quiet as could be. Then all at once, Vacco! That's who it says. Vacco! Vacco. Yes. The thing hits the deck right in front of McLaren, and he lets out a screech and turns my blood cold. Of course, my blood is cold. I'm dead. And he falls down in a faint. Hey, Miss so tough, Mr. Claren. He thought he was tough, and he fell down and fainted like a little girl. The second mate starts yelling, and somebody has fallen aloft. Laying out there just forward at the wheel was someone or something dressed in oilskins with blood oozing from underneath. Oh, I ordered DoorDash again. Hey, they deliver out to sea. The captain ran and fetched a big light from his cabin so that we could see who it was. And they kind of straightened him out to get a good look at his face. And it was a big, ugly-looking devil. But nobody knew who he was or what he was doing up there. At least nobody was saying. I wouldn't own up to it either. When McLaren came to from his faint, they tried to get something out of him, but all he did was jabber away and kept rolling those big, wild-looking eyes of his. Everybody was getting more and more excited. Oh, something is afoot, isn't it? We all wanted to hear the body overboard, heave the body overboard as quick as we could. But there was something weird about it. And if it wasn't real, and the captain wasn't so sure about getting rid of it right away. What do you mean? This thing falls out of the sky, it stinks, it's wrapped up in oilcloth, it's all bloody and it's cold. You get rid of it. But it was Vampir's lunch, so you better not. And you DoorDashed it. I paid good money for it. Could it be a stowaway, he asked. The ship was so filled with lumber that we were carrying. There was no place where a living thing could have hid for 3 weeks, which is how long we've been out. Even if it had been a stowaway, what was it doing aloft in such a dirty day? And there was no reason for anyone to be up there. Of course there was. There was no room in the cargo hold, so he was hiding up in the crow's nest. That's why he was cold. And there was nothing to see. And finally the captain gave up and told us to heave him overboard, and nobody would touch him. And the mate ordered to pick him up, but nobody made a move. Then he tried coaxing, not coaxing, coaxing. They tried to bribe him a little bit. Hey, give you a little extra ration of rum, need to beat the candy, some cookies, something like that. But they said, oh no, we're not touching that stinking thing. And the bunch of little wimps, you know how it goes. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to get involved. It's not our trouble. It's somebody else's problem. They don't want to get involved, right? So, anyway, suddenly, that loony McLaren starts yelling, I'll handle him once, I'll handle him again. He picks up the body and staggers over a railing with it. Then it jumped about to throw it overboard when it wraps 2 big arms around him. And over they go together. Oh, boy, I knew there was something special about those two. They were buddies. They went over together. You go, we go. That's right. They were swim buddies. You never swim alone. You always go with a partner in the ocean. So they were swim buddies. They were assigned to have a swim partner on that ship, and that's what they did. And on the way down, one of them starts laughing in a horrible way. Hee hee ho ho ha ha, hee hee ho ho ha 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 ho 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 ha 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 ha. All the way down. It's a very long drop. Ha 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 ho ho ha ha, hee hee ha ha ho ho ha ha ha. Splash. Right? Okay. The mates are yelling to launch a boat, but nobody would get into the boat. And then not on a night like that. No, not on a night like that. Not in the boat, not with a goat. Not in a dinghy, not with a lingy. Not for a cent, not for my rent. I will not get in that boat. He threw a couple of life preservers over, but everybody knew that wouldn't help. So that was that. Or was it? Is it weird or what? Hosted by William Shatner. The first chance I had to get home after that, I went right over to the old Captain Sporshoe, who was captain when the Gertrude was around. Well, he says, one trip, there was an outlandish man, ship aboard the Gertrude. One was McLaren, and the other was this big old fella. Everybody liked him. Good old fella. Hard-working fella. The big one was always picking on McLaren. But everybody liked him. His name was Big John. Big John. Big Bad John. All right. The big one was always picking on McLaren and thumping him around. And McLaren was always talking about how he would get back at him, right? He had to save face, so he's talking trash, right? All right, he's verbalizing feces about the guy. Well, this vet dirty night, the two of them was up there all alone. And then the big one came flying down, killed himself deader than herring. You could see very scary illustration. Yes, drawing by Stephen Gamel. He's good, scary picture drawing guy, isn't he? Oh, this scary picture drawing guy. Oh, very good. All right, almost done with scary story here. McLaren was the foot rope that used to prepare how he almost fell himself. But nobody who saw the rope knew she didn't give way on her own. She had she had been cut with a knife. 10,000 spoons, and all you need is a knife. That's right. And after, whenever you came into the port, McLaren thought we were going to get the police after him. But he had gotten pretty scared. They wouldn't have called it police. They called it the magistrate back then. He couldn't prove anything. So we couldn't even try. We didn't even try. They didn't. They just said, well, it's not our problem. They had no proof. No fingerprints. No nothing. Just one guy's story. I guess the big fella took care of things in his own way. It was a ghost that came back. And that was who he was. And there be things like ghosts. Isn't that right? Big John came back and whacked him out. Got his revenge. Pushed his crusty butt right over the rail. All right. So let's see. This is good storybook, scary stories tell in the dark. So we just keep this episode short, but we be reading more scary stories next week. And hopefully I can stay away, so they won't have to cross my bow, right? But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to see Joe Motion talk about the G.I. Joe toys. Oh boy, G.I. Joe, an American hero. Yeah, an international hero. Good stuff, good G.I. Joe stuffs. And for being so good to G.I. Joe, for being so good to Joe Motion, when Vampire left last year to go on my sabbatical for a year, he didn't have so many viewers, and I come back and did 3,000 viewers, and oh my goodness, what happened? You guys, thank you so much for Vampire's unbeaten heart. Thank you. You have my undying, and I mean undying gratitude, because I am undying. I'm dead, but I'm undying. Gratitude for you being so good to Joe Motion and for helping this channel get so big. Oh goodness, thank you so much. You're helping Vampire get his word out about the scary storybooks. Yes, thank you so much. You guys are wonderful people. And come by for a bite. Yes, be glad to bite you. Come by, or not to bite you, but come by and say hi to Vampire. Vampire, oh. Saying come by and I have a crossbow in the hand. Just come by. And Vampire say hello. Come by the toy dungeon and see the toys, and I show you the cool stuff in the dungeon. And then in the obulette, show you that. Yes, the obulette and how deep it is, and stuff like that, and the weapons and stuff that we have in the toy dungeon. No, we don't have that. We had the toys in the toy dungeon. You come play toys with Vampire. So anyway, you guys, you have a wonderful day. Be good to yourselves and be good to your little puppies and kitties, and hug them and kiss them and let them know that you love them. And don't you beat them up. I will come and just wreak all kinds of havoc on you, because they know nothing but unconditional love. You have to be nice to your puppies and your kitties, and you need turtles and fishes and all the stuff that you call your pets. And be good to yourselves. You deserve it. You good people. And be kind to everybody else too. A little bit of kindness goes a very long way. That's what Joe Motion says. Be good to everybody. It helps. You just never know if somebody's having a bad day. A little smile makes somebody feel better. Makes somebody laugh. Yes, laughter makes the heartache go away and makes somebody feel better. Okay, so anyway, you guys, you take care. We'll see you next week for another scary story tell in the dark. Maybe we'll read a couple more stories than just Van. Van is just it for today. This Vampire has to go to bed. Yes, the sun is coming up. And you know what happens when the sun comes up? I go to bed. That's what happens when the sun comes up. So anyway, you guys, you take care. We'll see you. Take care. You're wonderful people. Yes, you are. And thank you so much for being so nice to us all. So we'll see you. See you next week. Okay, camera, turn off. Camera, turn off. Oh, for God, don't do that. Yeah, you have to put the finger. I'm just an old curmudgeon. I'm sorry. Got to turn it off. Bye. Bye.